Alright guys, we're out on Pushaw Lake today. Doing a little bit of a GoPro Max 2 low light and overheating test, seeing how well it does for kayak fishing. I noticed it'll overheat in about a little less than 20 minutes in my house, but we've got 39 degree outside temp and a 54 degree water temp today, and a little bit of wind, so it shouldn't overheat. Otherwise, that's a big problem for GoPro. I've already noticed a few little issues with the camera, mostly the big pain in the butt one being that there is no dedicated microphone option like there is for the Insta360 X5 and the Osmo Action, or the Osmo 360. I don't remember what that one was called, but you can't really buy it in the US anyway. So we'll see how this does kayak fishing here. It is that kind of time of the year where the fishing slows down now, so we're like past the early part of fall where it's still a little bit warm. Now we've got grass dying off and things slow down. I'm probably mostly going to be targeting for pike today. They're definitely in here and they're definitely around this area. And they're fun to catch. So I did do one test already, the Max 2, and I'm not able to post that one because I cannot figure out how to get the log footage to look good. I tried the official GoPro LUT, and it seems to be applying some kind of really dark and annoying creative look to it that I don't want. I thought the GoPro standard LUT was just supposed to bring it back to basically standard GoPro colors as a starting point, except because it's 10-bit and log footage that there'd be a little extra ability to boost things as needed. I'm having a little problem with my boat. It keeps trying to turn right on me, and I don't know if maybe I need to pull up the maybe I need to pull up the fin and see what's up. The whole way over here it was pulling. Seems okay. I don't know. Let's see, I'll set it straight. Maybe it was just because I was leaning to get stuff situated. Now we're starting to pull right again. I think I said left earlier, but it was pulling right. It is pulling right. Even though I've got the rudder pointed straight. I don't know if it's my motor doing that. Let's turn it off. All right, another Max 2 issue right off the bat for kayak fishing is that there's no hindsight on it. So you either have loop mode, which reduces the quality. Oh, we got a fish on, hang on. Looks like a bass. Good size one. Should probably use my net for him, but. All right, I gotta go backwards. Why am I so tight? I'm gonna use pliers. Got that one in really strong. There we go. First fish today. See if anything shows up on the Max too. Ooh, that's cold water. 54 degrees right now. I'm gonna get my net ready. Whoop. So I'm fishing on a regular sized chatterbait, chartreuse and white, with a swim bait on there, and it's like a power bait, 3.5 inch, I believe, something like that. Maybe I'll put a link in the description if I can find it. They're very durable. I used to use other swim baits. Trying to remember the brand. There was a Yamamoto, Zaccos. There's another one everybody uses that I don't really like too much. But yeah, these ones seem to be the most durable. Alright, so I was saying about the Max 2. No hindsight. So you're stuck either doing loop recording, which reduces your quality. And although loop recording probably doesn't overheat as much, man. Another fish on. This was pretty good size too. Gotcha. You're either stuck doing loop mode or continuously recording like I am here to maintain the full quality, although I'm risking, he's bigger, risking the overheating. I won't he open his mouth much. Oh, he's got a big mouth. He got that hook in weird. I think I need my deep. I don't have anything to grip onto the angle. There. Bigger bass. He just doesn't want to keep his mouth open. All right. Shoot, I got my shirt a little wet on that one. I gotta get out of here. Getting too close. I know with hindsight you risk overheating also because it is continuously recording, but at least you're not dealing with a giant mass of files when you're done. You've got your clips throughout the day where you caught stuff. You can easily align it with another GoPro. Instead, I'm laying out an entire 4 to 6 hours of 360 video, which is massive. I've got it set at 140 megabits right now. The default is 120. I do have GoPro Labs installed to do that. And we'll see if we overheat. While I'm getting to a new spot here, I'll mention now, at the end of this video, I'll show a quick little how-to on how I align things and edit these videos. Which I don't actually post very many of them, but I do feel like I have a decent process down for running through. And then the other little annoyance I'm having to deal with is because there's no integrated mic on here, I've got the DJI Mic 2 here doing a solid recording as well. So I'll have to use that audio because I'm sure the GoPro audio is going to be way too quiet. And the GoPro in front of me is probably too far away and too quiet as well. Hitting a lot of weeds today. It's kind of pulled my swim bait weird. Starting to yank it off. I've had this one on here a while, so I'll probably be replacing that soon. So yeah, now I'm forced to time align a Max 2, the DJI Mic 2, and a GoPro Hero 13 I have here. So it would be nice to just have proper, good quality audio going to the Max 2, have that on hindsight, and then with a remote control trigger both cameras to start recording, and then I'd only have to sync 2 things then. Anyhow, I'm curious here, put a comment below how you think the low light's performing. It is pretty dim right now. The sun is not up over the trees yet. But I know when I have my X5, it's probably exposing better for this dim light with less grain. My swim bait is looking toast. I know I was just talking about how durable it was. They are durable, but they do eventually wear out. And this one, well, this one is close. So it's a power bait, power stinger, 3.5-inch sight flash. Transporting to the next space here. So I've been using this Ally Express motor with a 12-volt battery here for a couple weeks now. So my pack motor actually broke. One day I went to use it, I got about a split second of power, and then it shut off. And then every time I plugged it back in, it would start the startup chime that it does, and then it would cut off halfway through it and shut off. So talked to the owner of the company, and he said it's a main board issue, and basically have to send that big thing back Maine to Florida. He did provide a shipping label to do it under warranty. However, it's been a month now and I haven't heard anything on it yet. And what sucks is that they sent me a pre-made shipping label, but now if I want to check on it, usually I just download the label again and then copy the tracking number off it. But in this case, the label doesn't exist anymore, like it's a dead link. So I don't even know if the thing made it there and how long he's had it. He made it sound like it would be a 1 to 2 day turnaround, and then, you know, a while shipping, because it's snail mail, pretty much ground shipping from Florida. But it has now been, I want to say, just short of a month. I feel like I should have had something by now, or maybe just some acknowledgement that it's being shipped back. I did send an email out on Friday, today's Sunday, just to ask. All right, not doing too good with the fish now. I think the wind and the chop have really picked up enough where it's going to be cutting down on what I can catch. But now we have the sun up over the trees. We've got it heavily diffused with clouds. How's the Max 2 quality now? Both facing me, and if I zoom out probably and kind of capture a bigger area, or even if I point at the sun. Got something on. Ooh yeah, nice looking bass. Gotcha. I'm gonna end up beached over here. Not too big, little one. Just a hint of slime. And just on the other side of that, where we just were. Okay, first cast. He does not feel like a very big fish though. Little bass. That is on first cast of a fresh worm here. We've got the Yum brand, Yum Dinger, 4.5-inch watermelon red flake. This one feels a little bigger. Yeah, we're gonna net you. A little bigger. What did he do to the worm there? Nothing. No damage. Look it off. He got off. Dang. Come on. What are we hung up on? Gotcha. And you got that. Deep. Another little one. It's definitely full of little ones. Little bass around here. Alright, I'll come back if I catch another one. Uh-oh. That one got in the weeds pretty good. smaller bass. We are stuck. I don't know if let's see, how do I do this? Yep, got him. Got him and a whole lot of weeds. And you swallowed it pretty deep. Yanked it. Alright, another one. Bigger than the others. Alright, it's 8:20. I'm going to start heading back because it's going to take an hour or two. So how's the Max 2 quality now that we're in the sun like this? I'm assuming my face is underexposed. That would normally be the case. It's probably fine on the Hero 13 because it's facing the right direction right now. Probably at some point here I'm going to unclog the motor once I get out of the weeds. So I have a feeling we're not going to be hitting the 3.8 miles an hour I was getting on the way in. Usually is a good mix. Alright, let's see what the motor looks like. Yeah, that looks awful. So this is my kind of half-assed situation here. Just a couple blocks of 2x4 on a 1x that fits into the pedal drive. That is really gummed up. I am probably supposed to, wow, that's gonna need some pliers. Hopefully I won't drop my pliers since there's a big hole now. The pack motor definitely unclogs easier than this. The grate really gets in the way on this. I can't wait for the pack motor to come back. Hopefully it does before it gets too cold out, because I'm really curious how I could run this motor combined with the pack motor. Not necessarily to get a higher top speed or anything, but the AliExpress motor gets me there quick, and then the pack motor lets me stand, fish, steer, and move slowly at a slower pace. I can cruise control slower on the pack motor than I can with this one. Alright, we're 3.6 miles per hour, 3.57. We're not at full speed. Let me try going reverse a little. See if you can blow anything out. Feels slower. I'm just afraid if I have too much in there and I go full blast the whole way back here for 20-30 minutes that it's gonna overheat and ruin it somehow, and I'll end up having to paddle. So let's see, we got 3.57, 3.6, 3.65. Oh, last thing I wanted to mention too is the seat cushion I'm on. I had been eyeing the Kayak cushions forever, but I just couldn't get myself to spend 70 bucks on just a bottom cushion, let alone shipping on top of that. So I started looking around and I found the wheelchair cushions seem to be a good alternative. And actually this one I think is 2 inches bigger in one dimension than the Kayak cushion, but it's like a perfect fit on here. The only catch is I do need to find a way to connect it to the seat. The cushion did have a cover, so I'll probably put some grommets into the bottom of the cushion and then just use like a elastic stretchy thing to wrap it around the seat so it's secure in that way too. So I'll put a link to that in the description below, and maybe in a future video I'll show it better, probably at the end of the year Old Town Sportsman video that I usually do. That'll be the third one here coming up soon. I'll go over it in more detail. But I am back to the dock here. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or thoughts on anything I did today, or questions on the Max 2, anything like that. Thank you for watching. Okay, I'm going to go over the process for getting the 360 video into Adobe Premiere, basically doing like a mini version of making a fishing video here. So the first thing you want to do is pop in your micro SD card, and there isn't really a point in converting or transferring these files over to your computer yet. It's easier to just open the GoPro app, GoPro player, and from here go to File, Batch Exporter. And from here you can just highlight all these files, even though it's only going to grab the 360 files, and put them in the batch exporter. Okay, from here if you want to make any changes to these, you need to like select them individually or hold shift and select all of them. Because even though, for example, it says output directory is on drive I here, you can see here the destination is drive C, and that really is where it will end up. So you do need to click this and hit OK, and now see it's going to update where the files go. And what I usually do is HEVC. If you do not have enough power to edit those files, I would just do one at first and see if it works well on your timeline. If you can't edit it, try H.264, and if you can't edit that, try Cineform, but keep in mind that Cineform is going to use a ton of hard drive space. So if you're doing a fishing video with several hours of video, it's going to be a problem. Okay, so HEVC, I bumped the bitrate all the way to the max. I have no idea what that number is. I did in GoPro Labs set my GoPro Max 2 to record 140 megabits instead of the default 120. So I don't really know if I'm going to get the full amount on that. I guess we'll find out in a little bit here. And then of these checkboxes here, I unchecked the direction lock, which is actually a nice feature that you can do that, because on the Insta360, when you're editing videos, as your kayak turns, even though the camera isn't moving, your footage is going to be pretty much going in a circle throughout the entire trip. So if you uncheck this box and export all the videos, you're going to have footage that's pointing at your boat the entire time, unless of course you accidentally spin the camera or move the camera. So that's definitely a cool thing worth doing. And from here you'll just click start, and I have an RTX 4080 Super in my desktop here, which is not a cheap graphics card. Processor, nothing special. It's an i5 1400 series. And you can see here when you're exporting, it's using a little bit of CPU. And on my GPU, the 4080 Super, it's running around 50%. And if we look at the times here, each one of these 11-minute videos takes about 5 minutes to export, right around that amount of time. So that is definitely a major slowdown in the process. It's kind of made up for by this direction lock that I couldn't figure out how to handle in Insta360 without also doing the same process of exporting them. But what comes out of this, and I'm just going to stop it because I've already done these. What comes out of here is going to be MP4 files, and if you open them in VLC player, they're always really zoomed in, but pretty nice looking video. And I don't know, hopefully my Adobe exports look like this. We'll find out. And probably my screen recorder here, OBS Studio, is gonna butcher the quality too. So anyway, what I'm gonna do, open Adobe Premiere, and it's probably a pretty similar process in DaVinci. I'm just not as familiar with that. I'm gonna do a new project. We'll call this Fishing Kayak. I'm gonna have the same folder to put it in. I usually skip this step. And the first thing I do is create a bin for each camera. So we're gonna have a Max 2 bin. We're gonna have a DJI Mic Mini. No, is that a Mic Mini? No, that's just a Mic 2. And we're gonna have a bin for the Hero. Sorry, I'm typing across my camera here. Hero 13. And so if you choose Hero 13, go to Media Browser, go to your folder. You can easily import all those files. Click on the Mic 2. We'll go to the Mic 2 folder, import those files. Oh, I put those in the wrong folder. Mic 2, not Max 2. And we'll import those. And we'll see here right off the bat, syncing these isn't as easy as doing time code, because you can see there's a media start time on these for the Hero 13 and for the Max 2, but all of the DJI Mic clips start at 0. So what I'm going to do first is highlight all of the files, and I got to tag them. So I'll go to metadata, camera label, and you can see I've already done this, but I would type in Hero 13. I'd move on to the Mic 2, highlight them, type in pretty much any label as long as it's the same on all of them, and then do the same for the Max 2. I always find that, oh, that's funny. That one wasn't completely. I always find that sometimes when you click in this camera label field, it like unselects constantly. And if that's happening, I just do them in smaller batches and avoid whatever, try to find whatever one's causing that. And then usually just wait extra long, and then eventually it'll let me click in that field to type in Max 2. So anyway, once you've done that, you can highlight your 3 folders. Go to New, Create Multi-Camera Source Sequence. This is all changed from a pretty recent update. It used to just be here, but now you have to click extra clicks in Adobe. So you want to do by time code, you want to create a single multicam source sequence. And we're going to do it by camera label that we just added to them. And that should be it. If yours looks different, match it. Hit OK, and you get a sequence here. And we can open it in Timeline. And you can see here the DJI is butchered, so we're just going to go ahead and delete that. But you can see the DJI and the GoPro are they're probably pretty closely aligned. And that's assuming you've connected your cameras to your phone somewhat recently. They'll be at least within the minute. So you can see right off the sequence is messed up. So we'll go to sequence settings and we'll set it to 3840 by 2160, 16 by 9 aspect ratio. And we'll highlight all the GoPro clips. And actually, I don't even know if I should be doing this yet or if I should wait till after I finish syncing, but yeah, I'm going to wait till after I finish syncing. So let's get the DJI clips back on. And these kind of have the time written on them, so I'm just going to drag them one at a time. Okay, and now my secret weapon here, let me save, is that we're going to export Final Cut Pro XML. And we're going to open up this program called, oh, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, Syncalia, something like that. And we're going to import that file. I'm on a trial right now. The software itself, I believe, for 3 devices, which is basically what we have here, 2 cameras and 1 microphone, is, I want to say it was $40 a year. I'll just put a link to it in the bottom. Who knows if the price will change or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is just click synchronize, and it's going to use a combination of different factors. That was loud. Combination of different factors such as the time code built into the files along with audio, and get things in sync. And it is tons more accurate than what Adobe Premiere or DaVinci will do if you try to do audio time sync. So let's see. So metadata time sync, this date, time, start, end, and end time, that will only get you so far. It gets things usually within a frame or two. If the cameras haven't been synced in a while, it might be like, I don't know, a few seconds off. But that doesn't do anything for the audio stream here. So this program solves that problem. And I'm going to click it again. I'm curious if it'll come out different with this gap here. Nope. Okay. Maybe it's accurate and we'll find out when we're editing, but export XML, and we go back into Premiere, we'll import, and we'll do Kayak synced. Unfortunately, it does kind of clutter the timeline a little bit here, but this file here I can now open in the timeline, and now we have things well synced. So that gap is kind of there. It's a little confusing what's happening there. But let's see, do we have all 3 sounds? And you can see there's a slight echo. It is probably related to these being recorded at 30 frames per second. If I did 60 frames per second, I have a feeling they would be slightly more accurate without that echo. But really the solution is just to go solo on your nice microphone and call that your primary. So that's how you get everything on the timeline. From here, I'm not going to go into how to edit a video, but basically I'm just clipping it. If you press C, you get your scissors. If you hold Shift, it will cut all the tracks. So you can just, at that point, highlight stuff you want to delete, press delete. Usually I move my 360 video to the top as the primary video, and then I cut chunks out of it to show GoPro footage below it. And then let's see, anything that is red, it was not able to sync, but because we were recording the entire time, it's pretty clear, whoops, it's pretty clear that this goes here, this goes here, and I bet you this goes here. And in fact, we can probably, so I started looking around and I found you can see that my mouth seems to be just fine in sync. So it did a pretty good job overall. Just, I know if I'd done sound sync from the get-go, because of wind and just the cameras not being right next to each other and being different microphone styles, it would probably only capture and sync about 20% of the clips, especially short clips. If you have any of those, it would have a rough time with those. So that's the gist of getting this footage onto a timeline. And you can see actually the next step you're going to want to do is first take your GoPro clips, right click them and do media action, video actions, scale the frame size, just in case that didn't carry over from before. And then on each one of these 360 video clips, we're going to add an effect, which is called GoPro reframe. I'm just going to hide this top track for a second. So when you do the GoPro reframe, choose a clip, go to Effect Controls. I keep this as source image. No, sorry, I don't keep it as source image. I do 4K 16:9. And on here, you can then turn your footage, zoom out, get yourself in a good starting point where you'd want each one of these to be pointing as a starting point. And for example, if you like this as a starting point, you can copy it, paste it. You can click another clip. Let me just go here to show you what it's doing. And I can paste it. And you see how it's putting me back in center, and that's because we did the direction, we unchecked the direction lock. And you can see as you skim through these, even as my boat turns, the camera is always still pointing at me. Okay, well this one I haven't copied, pasted the, and you can go through and just blow through these really quick. Just click a clip, paste, paste, paste. On the Insta360, you would be scrubbing through your timeline, and it would just be spinning in circles around your boat or spinning in circles around your surroundings, so it makes it hard to see when you catch a fish. And because I only turn the GoPro on when I caught something or when I was talking about something important, it's easy to see where you need to focus. Usually I would just go through, find out where an action starts near one, press C, do a shift click to cut. I would delete everything in front of it that would be junk, watch through it, do any micro editing I need to here, and at the end of the clip, press C, shift, and click, and then take your chunk and move it to your ongoing video that you're creating. That's about it. Let me know in the comments below if you know any tricks or tips for me and or anybody else watching this. And thank you for watching.